Hey guys, it's Coach T, and I'm back with another episode of Maxing You. I'm really excited about today's episode. I am interviewing a dear friend of mine, Mira Kelley. And Mira, if you don't know her, is a best-selling author. She speaks around the world about spirituality. She's been on Oprah's Soul Sunday, as she's got a very impressive resume. But today, Mira's with us, and she's chatting with us about mindfulness, relationships, holidays, New Year's resolutions, and how we can remove all the blocks that are in our life for us to get what we truly want. Take a listen.
Hi, everyone. So thanks for joining another episode of Maxing You podcast. And I'm so thrilled today to have my dear friend, Mira Kelley, on. And she is just amazing. I just told you about all of her wonderful accomplishments and accolades. And so I thought that it'd be great to have Mira on during this interesting time that we find ourselves. Hi, Mira. How are you?
Hello, beautiful. I'm so happy to be with you. I am thrilled for our conversation. So, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So this podcast is all about sort of self-growth, well-being, relationships, all these things, sort of elevating ourselves so that we elevate all aspects of our lives. And so, of course, during this time, one of the things that comes to mind is, what are some of the things that you're thinking in terms of staying grounded amid the chaos that has been this year and the uncertainty that everyone's been facing? What are you thinking on that?
I have to tell you, I dug deep into what's important to me, what are my priorities, and how I can grow. Because, even though I vote, I stand where I stand in terms of, supporting the consciousness of all of us moving through this transition. Ultimately, it's really about me, right? Who do I want to come out of as after this change, this pressure cooker that we're all in? So I went to basics, and my basics are work and me, aren't they for everybody anyway? And so I have been called in a whole new way to serve, to give, to do through my work. So I have been spending a lot of time there. And then the basics, in order for me to stay grounded, have been taking care of me, right? Taking care of my body, my mind, and really being there for me. And so that's really where I am. That's really where you find me, right here, right now.
Right. I love that. Absolutely. Very important, very foundational, but still important. So I know that you work with your clients with lots of, blockages and these sorts of things. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your work so people have a good foundation?
So I came into my work through the path of past life regression, and that still continues to be a very significant basis of everything I do. And that's how you and I connected, right? Through past life regression. And from there on, I have been able to bring in so many other important aspects of growth and change and up-leveling for people, all around working with the mind. And because, it's not just about healing our karma from other lifetimes, it's also about dealing with our mindset right here, right now, so that we tune ourselves to the next level of growth, to the next level of what is it that we want to stand for and be known for. And more so, what do we want to experience? And I know that this is the piece of my work that resonates with what you do, with how you guide your clients and the people who tune into your message. And so I believe that the way I believe that the creation of reality starts from within, right? The inner environment within us. And so as we set up things within ourselves is how we experience them out in the world. And this is really where the magic of my work is, right? Tuning in the inner environment so that the outer environment responds and reflects.
Absolutely. So lots of listeners are in relationships or they are looking for new relationships. And so what do you say about, how they can sort of remove some of these past blockages? Maybe they're just things that they're dealing with, in this lifetime, things that are sort of causing them trouble. What would you tell your clients?
Oh my God, I feel like I have a PhD in relationships, right? And even though and this deep learning started for me only after I went through a divorce, right? So that's when I faced so many of the challenges, and one of the biggest things I needed to work through was this whole issue of abandonment, this whole issue of feeling wanted, feeling worthy, and so forth. And so there are so many. That's why I was saying to you, I feel like I have a PhD in relationships, because there are so many aspects we can take this conversation in, right? And yet ultimately it comes down to one such simple thing as it all starts with loving ourselves, being there for ourselves, claiming our worthiness, and then claiming that what we dream and desire is possible, that we are worthy of our needs being met, and really staying in that truth. And sure enough, the universe always responds with a person who is willing to be there for us.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Now, do you have any particular tips or tools that you guide your clients on when they're trying to align with this partner? So they have this list of what it is they're looking for. They're not there yet, but what would you tell them as they're trying to journey there?
Gosh, it's my suggestion will be to start with the problem. In other words, really, rather than going out into the world and jumping on a Bumble or Match.com, because I hear Match is resurfacing again. My suggestion is for people to really sit with themselves for a moment and really become clear on the places where things have not worked out, and the emotional pain they've been through. Now, the work that I do with people goes very deep into clearing that pain, clearing those memories and feelings and fears, and so forth. And so my suggestion will be, start right there, but don't allow yourself to sit and simmer and continue the story of, and there's no hope for me, right? Be clear on where you stand and start telling the better story, start healing those emotions, start looking up and start seeing the greater possibility. And um, and so it's really that deep feeling of transitioning, but not but tr- by when I say transitioning from the pain into the ease and the flow and the faith and the trust. But I don't mean doing it in a way where you kind of try to put whipped cream on a pile of stuff that is not resolved, because it never really works. My suggestion is, while you're building the future, while you're becoming clear on who is it that you want, who is it that you want to call into your life, doing all the magical witchy things we do to call in and manifest our partner, my suggestion is also simultaneously clear the past, right? Work through the not enoughness.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And we are coming up on the, end of the year, and so there are lots of New Year's resolutions that are simmering. And so for people who don't really have a current spiritual or mindfulness practice, are there any easy things, like practical tips or tricks, again, that you might suggest?
Oh my God, I love your question, because I do have the perfect answer. So, my suggestion for people is, pick a statement that allows you to feel grounded and allows you to feel that you are focused in the direction you want to work. And make it your mantra, make it your self-hypnosis statement, make it your incantation, and come back to the truth of that sentence over and over, repeat it over and over. And so what you will be doing by saying that sentence over and over is, you will be literally acting as the hypnotist, hypnotizing yourself and training your subconscious, reprogramming your subconscious using the neuroplasticity of the brain to really rewire your brain to look up, to see the better future, the greater potential, the greater possibility. And so that is such an easy way for you to stay grounded, connected, and looking up, right? Looking towards that which you're looking to create.
Absolutely. And so I think I read this in one of your newsletters during the pandemic. You mentioned something about using your practice and relating it to food or like eating or something to that effect. Could you share that? Because we're also all about, body wellness and whatever that means for us. So I know some are struggling with that.
Oh my God. Yes, yes, yes. It's so interesting because the belief that is behind the food that we ingest is really the most important thing, right? Um, but I've always loved sweets, especially tiramisu. Taylor, if you want to make me happy, just be like, girlfriend, come over to my house and let's have tiramisu. So there was a time in my life when I was looking to, oh my God, this is such a good story. I was looking to actually stop eating chocolate and sweets. And so I read this book, which was basically, back then I had no idea what I was reading, right? But obviously I knew what I was reading, but I had no idea what I was doing. Right. And so what this author was suggesting is basically repeat these statements to yourself and really work with your beliefs around chocolate. And so through the guidance of this man, I created this really attitude in my head where sugar and sweets and chocolate was evil and I was staying away from it and so forth, which obviously we all know that, sugar is not the healthiest of things. We can ingest processed sugar. Right. And so that resulted in this very clear space because that was my intention. I wanted to stop eating sugar. It resulted in this very clear break moment where for the next 4 years I didn't touch sugar. I was staying away from bread, from pasta. Sure enough, that reflected in my body. However, my dad passed away, and in the grief of it all, I reached out to sweets, right? I was like, oh, that used to give me comfort. Maybe it would do the same for me too, again, right? And so that's how I came back into eating sweets. And so I swear now, because I had created this belief that sugar is this evil thing and I got to stay away from it. And I swear every time I consume something that had, something, I swear the next day it was right on my thighs as an extra pound. Yeah. And I realized this whole thing and I was like, oh my God, I did, like, literally, how is this serving me now, right? It shouldn't be the case. And so then I had to reverse the belief. And so I told you this little silly story to share with you that the way we approach food and our diet, it's really important that we do it from a place of self-love, that we do it from a place of realize that everything you tell yourself is true. The body is listening, and if it will reflect that. And so my suggestion is really look for those uplifted, positive beliefs that actually serve you as we go into the holiday season and as we're looking to negotiate this whole thing of food and diet and so forth.
Absolutely. So you've mentioned a few times self-love. And so what would you tell people who feel like they just don't have the time to put into any of these mindful practices, the affirmations, the writing, the whatever? They're busy, they don't have time. Like, I always think of it as a self-love sort of thing. But do you have any thoughts? I know you work with many clients who probably have this issue.
Oh my God. Self-love is such an interesting thing, right? So I've been proclaiming that I love myself ever since I've been a kid. Not that I heard somebody tell me I should do this. It just felt natural. And I had a very loving mother who gave me a healthy sense of confidence. So, I love myself. And then some time ago, I spoke with this wise woman who said to me, baby, you gotta work on your worthiness and self-love. And that really caught me by surprise surprised because, I've been the kid who's been like, I love myself. Everything here I approve of. And so, that made me really study and examine this whole idea of self-love and be like, okay, well, I trust this woman. So what is it that I'm missing, right? What is self-love? Because I oftentimes hear this from clients. People say to me, okay, I get it, but what is really self-love? Because it's not just about getting a haircut or, going to the spa. There must be more to it. And self-love is all these mindful practices, but it's also self-forgiveness. It's also self-expression. It's, of course, obviously self-care. This is the stuff we all talk about, right? When we usually speak of self-love. But it's also being there for ourselves. So if some of your listeners are saying, yeah, that question that Taylor asked, that's me. I'm busy. I really don't have the time.
Yeah.
My answer is very simple. In your head, be there for yourself. Be your greatest cheerleader. Be the person who just really has your back and embraces you. And whenever you're faced with situations, always come from a place of, and I love myself more, right? Like literally, I love myself more. I'm choosing me. I'm my priority. What is important to me is the priority here. In other words, really approach things from that place of, it's my job to love myself, right? Because somebody who takes on a mission of doing something, be it a mom, be it a professional under a certain job title, we show up and do the work. So if each one of us takes on this purpose and this mission of, I'm here to love myself, oh my God, watch each and every one of us make the time for ourselves, be there for ourselves, and really apply these principles, because there's so much to self-love, and yet it always comes down to, I'm worthy, I choose myself, I matter, I'm important, what I need is important, right? All of that.
Yeah. And so then what comes to mind is some people are probably listening and thinking, well, of course she's into spirituality. Of course this is what she says. But can you sort of rewind a bit to your background? Like, you didn't always do this. I think it's important for people to sort of get that bigger picture.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely. For a very long time, I used to work as an attorney. I was a corporate attorney. I was representing publicly traded companies, NASDAQ stock exchange, publicly traded companies. And this was so far away from my reality, right? And I felt like I was a spirit undercover. I didn't have people to talk to about these things. And so I remember having a conversation with someone about this whole thing of, this is my life, and yet I read these spiritual books, I go to the workshops, I listen to people speak, and I had this conversation with someone who was saying, "Gosh, I wish I could just escape my life," and live basically in a monastery, right? And really have this be my life. And I said to her, no, it's not really the game, because your soul chose to be here. You wouldn't be here if you're not meant to be here. It's about bringing heaven to earth, not about running away to heaven. In other words, everything that speaks to you, every tiny little alteration you can make and bring into your everyday life, and do it from a place of, I'm just bringing more of me into everyday life. That's how we get to live heaven on earth.
I love that. I love that so much. So much. Because I think we've all been there. I know I have. Totally wanting to escape, but realizing that I can't, and I've got to make the best out of what is. No, that's fantastic. So I'm asking everyone this as the last question. So what are your 2021, what's your big outlook? Is there anything that you're doing, anything exciting that we can check in with you to, maybe like a course, anything?
Oh my God. So 2021, I am excited to continue to do my work and to continue to serve, right? I feel very attuned to my work. So, in other words, it's just more of what I'm serving and more of what I'm doing. In terms of my personal life, I have been saying to myself that my life is full of joy and sweetness and pleasure and fun. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking for a lighter and more fun, a lighter year filled with so much more fun. And in terms of my work, oh gosh, stay tuned. We'll have fun with all the things I teach.
Oh, absolutely. And where can they find your work?
MiraKelley.com, MiraKelley.com, and everywhere on social media. It's all under Mira Kelley. And thank you so much for even, bringing this up, because being able to share with people on all the platforms, obviously through my website as well, is such an opportunity. It's such a joy. So yeah, I'm excited to connect with everyone.
Well, great. Thank you so much for coming on. We're so blessed to, have heard all the nuggets that you've given us.
Have an amazing day, and thank you for having me.
Okay, we'll see you. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview with Mira. It was amazing. Lots of great insights there. If fitness, nutrition, mindfulness, any of that stuff jive with you, take a look at maxingyou.com. We've got lots of free content. You can learn about our courses and all the cool things that we're doing. Thanks for joining us, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. In the meantime, check us out at maxing_you on IG. See you later.